Oh, I have to request permission. Yeah, I'll just let you do
Okay,
it.
we're recording. So, welcome, Dynasty Rising. Are there any other team? Julie, do you have your own team name?
Lifestylist Dynasty.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Thanks. Yeah.
Jen, do you have a team name?
It's in the workings right now.
That's okay. I mean, I was like 4 years into my business before I was like, let's put a team name on this. So I just don't want to leave anyone out. So Ashley did give me a list of some of the topics you guys wanted to go over. Growing your cold market, how to get your blog out there, how to work Beachbody into conversations, how to make more Facebook friends, locking in Success Club. Is that kind of the gist of where we're going tonight? Okay, and like obviously I like Zoom calls to be interactive, so if you have feedback on something I'm saying or you don't understand it, I'd rather you ask in the moment, because what inevitably happens if you wait is then you forget and then you never know the answer, because every time you go to ask it, you like blank. So jot a question down or type it in the chat or just unmute yourself and ask. I think the most important thing I wanted to go over tonight was just really the concept of recruiting. I feel like this is a concept that is overcomplicated, and I think a lot of it has to do with our mindset around it. So recruiting a coach, like I know, I'll just tell you guys how I felt as a newer coach, and even as a diamond coach, sometimes I almost moved away from sharing the business because I thought, well, crap, once I get them to sign up as a coach, then I have no idea what to do with them. So it's almost like stressful to sign up a coach. And sometimes in the conversations, it's like, I don't know what to say. So if you guys have ever felt that way, I have some things I can share with you to like overcome those. But first and foremost, understand that if you're having trouble recruiting, there's probably a lesson that you need to learn as far as confidence and mindset go. So if I see a coach that's like not recruiting anyone, usually when we dive down to it, even if they're inviting, there's this undercurrent of just like lack of confidence. And just to give you guys an example of what that looks like in the real world, I used to work for American Eagle as a manager, and if any of you guys have worked in retail, you know that if it's a store that has a credit card, they really push enrolling customers, into like their credit. So we always had a quota, and I've never had a credit card up until I was 30. So I hated talking about it because I felt like I was like contributing to like ruining these people's credit. So I just would be nervous to even bring it up. So if I'm asking someone to sign up for a credit card and I'm nervous and I'm asking them essentially to give me their social security number, they're going to be like, heck no. Like, I'm not signing up for something that like she's like clearly not excited about even asking me to do. But once I kind of got over that confidence issue with it, and I would treat it like something special that I was offering them, like I was doing them a favor, I was going to be able to save them money, they were going to be a preferred customer, and I was more excited about it, then they were excited about it. So if you're having trouble enrolling customers, I just want you to keep an open mind when you're looking, maybe read back through some of your conversations and see if you're picking up on an undercurrent of just not being overly enthusiastic about it, or not being 100% like diehard Beachbody. And obviously Beachbody is part of our life. It's not our entire life. I don't expect you to like live, breathe, and eat Beachbody. But what I would love for you to do is think of what you love about Beachbody and how it's changed your life. So when I think about Beachbody, I just jotted down, some things that I love about it. Okay, so I loved that it was pretty inexpensive to start the business. There's like a low startup cost. So I could be my own CEO for $40 or the cost of a challenge pack. And that appealed to me because if you look at any franchise, I'm sure being a hairstylist, if you want to branch out on your own and open your own salon, I actually know a hairstylist, Ashley Reyes. She's one of the elite coaches on our team. I forget what the amount was, but it was something like, she was like $16,000 in debt. And that was after she had already paid, all this money to like own her own salon. So if you think about, if I wanted to open a Subway, I'm looking at investing $100,000. But with Beachbody, anyone could be their own business owner for $39.95. So even though I was like dead broke, I still scraped together, the change from my couch and, was able to enroll as a coach, which I think is absolutely amazing. Like anybody can do this. I love that it's simple and that you don't have to have a college degree. At the time I was embarrassed by it, but now I'm a very proud college dropout. So there's no like hoity-toityness of Beachbody. Anyone can do it. You just have to like have a willingness to put in the work. I love that you can work part-time. You can literally work this business in the cracks of your schedule, which is what I did as a new coach. Like literally waking up, getting to work 15 minutes early to make a blog post, doing GSRs on my lunch break. So like fitting it in wherever I could. It wasn't like I had to sit down at the computer for 2 hours at a time. I love it that I'm my own boss, which means I don't have a ceiling on my potential. I don't have a limitation to what I can do. I love that you get to choose who you work with, that you get to work with your friends, and that it actually feels like fun. So like getting on the Zoom call does not feel like work to me. I don't feel like I'm like, okay, I gotta go punch in. Like this is so terrible. I love connecting with you guys, so it doesn't feel like work. I can wake up when I'm done sleeping. That was a huge motivator for me to become a full-time coach, like getting rid of my alarm clock. I get to spend time with the people that are important to me. I get to make incredible friendships. The financial opportunity here is literally limitless. It's crazy how much money you can make with this. I love that you learn as you go. You don't have to sit down and do all this training before you get started. So my point is I want you guys to think of like all the reasons that you love, not only the fitness side of it. Maybe you're gaining confidence by losing weight. Maybe you're regaining your health. Maybe you have more energy. Those are all wonderful things, but I want you to consider what are you gaining from the business side of it. And maybe right now it's not the financial part. Maybe you're not earning a lot of money right now, but the potential is there. And I would always share, maybe, at the time, it's actually funny because I looked back on messages with Nikki Minton, and one of my like most excited messages to her was I made $200 that month. $200 in a month. It wasn't like this extraordinary amount of money. It was like 5 challenge packs, So I was just like over the moon, like, oh my gosh, Nikki, I could not believe this like extra $200 in my bank account this month. So sometimes when you just share those successes as you go, you share what you love about it, you share that you're growing, that you're learning, you're doing personal development, and that you share where you want to go with this, that's what gets people excited. It's not what you know. Knowledge will only get you so far. Passion will get you further than knowledge ever will. So people feel the passion behind it and they feel you're excited. Then they're like, okay, I know that she's not quite there yet. She doesn't know what she's doing, but I see the potential here. Like I know in my life something needs to change, something needs to give, and I'm willing to like trust her. I've known her a long time. I've known her a week, whatever. And that's how I was able to get coaches. Oh my gosh, sorry. Fruit fly. In the beginning when I wasn't successful. So it wasn't like I just started out and I had all these coaches and I had all this stuff. So that's for starters, getting your mindset right and just to understand that success is a decision. And I know that sometimes on these calls we say things like that, and where you are in your life and your confidence, you might be feeling like, what the heck is she talking about? But literally if you set your mind to succeed, like I think Jen can even testify to this. Like she's made amazing strides in her business, and a lot of it she's done, on her own accord. Like no boss, no upline, kind of like cracking the whip at her, just like putting her head down, doing the work, and like, making it happen. So I want you to think about, what, if you're really truly real with yourself, if you're really honest, what is it that's holding you back? Is it fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of someone saying that's pyramid scheme, fear of someone like telling you it's stupid? If it is any of those reasons, the only thing I can tell you, because I'm a very shy person and I hate, you guys like this, like in school, I hated to raise my hand because just like I knew the answer, but I hated to be wrong because it was like embarrassing. So sometimes with the business, it can feel like that, or I felt like that in the beginning, like, oh my gosh, if I share this with someone and then they tell me it's a scam and that I joined some kind of weird Ponzi scheme and my social security number is now all over the internet, I think I would die. I think I would like wither and die right on the spot. So if it's something like that, you know, you just have to get over it. And I was talking to one of my prospects today, and basically she had that same fear, the fear of just what will people think? It's network marketing. And I feel that when I was sharing a little bit on my Facebook, I would get just maybe a couple people messaging me saying how inspiring I was. And I realized the power that each of us has. Like, we have incredible power and influence over our network. People that aren't commenting on your stuff, that aren't liking it, that are out there watching you and following you, you have this incredible influence where you can impact them in such a positive way. And to me, the benefit of that is so far greater than the fear of someone telling me it's stupid. And because of that and kind of getting over that mindset, that's how I've been able to, I don't know, just not care about the naysayers.
So I have something I want to say about that. Like, I'm not scared of inviting anymore at all. Like, I'm confident. I think personal development has helped me with that. I am scared to look like some of the other MLMs out there. Like, in the past 2 days, I've gotten 2 messages from like people that I have just become friends with, have not formed me at all. Like, I am so glad we have the training that we do, because they were just like, hey, I saw this and thought this would be perfect for you and you should join my team. And I'm like, I haven't talked to you since middle school. Like, that's awful. Yeah. And I don't want to come across like that. And I think with the forming, it's not as obvious, but when I do, it is hard to kind of bring it up without having them come to me first. Like, I don't really just approach people that haven't been in my challenge groups or haven't talked to me about fitness first or anything. So do you have any suggestions for that?
I do. So for starters, I always say that the person who is fearful of coming across a salesy probably never will, because you're like aware of it. The people that aren't afraid of it are the ones just, you know, copy pasting the messages to, who knows, 100 people. So that's for starters. So when I'm inviting to Beachbody, like, understand that I don't think of myself as a Beachbody coach. I never am like, I am a Beachbody coach. I don't know why, but it just, in my brain, does not compute. Like, what computes for me is being a problem solver and being a solution connector. So when I'm talking to someone, like, for example, when I'm forming them, what's going through my mind is like, how can I add value and how can I solve a problem for them, or at least connect them to something that will solve a problem? So it's not always Beachbody related. So I'm trying to think of an example, but you know, if I'm talking to someone and they need like a dog sitter or they need, you know, dog boarding or something like that, like, I'm going to offer that recommendation. So whenever something does come up where I feel like Beachbody would be a good fit, it's not like I'm just throwing Beachbody at them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you've already
it's just
been
like
solving
trust.
problems for them.
Yeah, it's just like
Right.
building trust. So like any way that I can build trust. So normally, like, in people's lives, the problems that they have are, you know, weight loss, you know, being one, but like stress, they have an issue with time. They don't have enough time. Excuse me. Money might be an issue. So, you know, when those things come up, then I'm like, you know, I don't know if this would be for you, but have you ever considered doing what I do? And really just bringing up in like a very I don't like any pressure. I like to always give them a way out of the conversation, to say like, you know, no, that's definitely not for me. Okay. You know, it's not for everybody. But if they are telling me, like, for example, I had one girl, one of my prospects, she ended up becoming a coach. she worked as a waitress and she wasn't making a lot and she's spending a lot of time away from her newborn and it was stressful. And I'm like, okay, this is like the perfect storm of like all these factors coming at one. Like you really need to be a coach. And she had never even tried the product before. But I think me being so passionate and sharing like how I came from a place of not really I didn't have a transformation. I never tried Shakeology when I signed up as a coach. Looking back, that's like a lot of trust, but I think when some people get to that rock bottom place, they're so willing to do something, anything to make a change. And that's where you can I feel good about recommending Beachbody because I know firsthand that it's helped me. So I was going to say, to your point, if they've never been in a challenge group, there are 3 main reasons that somebody would sign up as a coach with me, or 3 main avenues that I target for sponsoring new coaches. So the first one would be a customer to coach scenario. So someone that has done one of my free groups, maybe they did a challenge group, maybe they're just one of my customers that's been on Shakeology forever. And it's just a natural progression for them to become a coach, whether it's they're really great at cheering other people on, whether it's that they're so darn consistent that I'm like, okay, are people asking you about your results? I try to ask those leading questions, oh my gosh, how do you feel? You've been on Shakeology for 6 months now. Is anybody asking you why you're glowing? Because you're, so energized now. Really trying to ask leading questions so that the next logical step is for them to become a coach. And I think you do a great job at challenge group to coach relationships. The other 2 would be, I had to read this. Oh, compliments will get you everywhere, little man. The other one would be they're attracted to the lifestyle. So I'm posting about, going on the Beachbody trips. I'm posting about, sleeping in. I'm posting about being out by the pool. When I was a new coach, they didn't look like that. They looked more like, oh my gosh, time hop is so amazing because I can see all my new coach posts. But I was posting about just being surrounded by positive people. I was posting about going to Fit Club and just how exciting it was. And so it's not these big things, a lifestyle thing, but that actually attracted people into my business. Just seeing oh my gosh, she's part of a group of positive women who, support one another. I didn't have that in my life before Beachbody. In fact, I don't know if I've ever told you guys, but I had a best friend who was lying to me, trying to get with my boyfriend, and she would bring me cupcakes at work. And at the time, I thought it was so nice, but then she never ate them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, saboteur. Just crazy, people that talk behind your back, rude, whatever. I don't know if you guys have anything like that or you did before Beachbody, but I was just so impressed by the caliber of people I was meeting through Beachbody. So I was posting a lot about that. The last area that I post about is people that are attracted to the business. So some people will say to me, I don't care if I ever make any money with Beachbody. I just want to help people. That's great, but then that's a hobby. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if Carl Deichler said, I just want to help people, I don't care if I ever make any money, then he would never have reached as many people as he's been able to, because money is a tool that enables us to help a larger audience. So for me personally, I've always been attracted to the money. I've always been attracted to the business. I love the business side of it. I love helping other people build their business. So when I post about that, I do have people that are like me that are attracted into that. So don't shy away from posting about the business. Don't shy away from posting about, even if you earned $100 this month, that's amazing. You're getting fit and you're earning money. That's incredible. I don't care if it's $5. I think that's absolutely amazing. And there are other people in your network who will feel that same way. So think about the different posts that you're making on Facebook. So yeah, we talk about, 3 to 5 topics on your Facebook, mixing it up. Of course, you want to show your reality show the different, areas of your life, your different interests. But when you're posting about Beachbody, don't be afraid to think about, okay, how am I attracting coaches? Am I attracting people into my challenge groups? Am I attracting people by the lifestyle that I lead? Am I attracting people by talking about the business? And I know that when you're in the hustle stage as a coach, as a newer coach, you can be very busy. I was very, very, very busy. I don't think I slept more than like 5 or 6 hours my whole first year as a coach. That's fine if you're in the hustle stage, but you don't want to come across as this like crazed person that's want to rip your hair out. You're working so many hours, because if you are, then no one's going to want to follow you. So if you are, I know that some of you guys have crazy schedules, but sometimes like a little bit of time management and like effectiveness with your time will go a long way. So you're not spending hours on the computer. You can just get in, get it done, and get out. But that's like a whole nother topic. So does that help you at all, Julie? You can let him talk if he wants to share something.
Come here. Now you're shy? Why don't you just say hi?
No.
No, okay, you just want to talk about Beachbody? Do you like it? Do you like working out? What's your favorite workout? Max out?
Do you drink
Okay, we don't have
Shakeology?
time for this. Do you drink shakes? Yeah. What's your favorite kind? You can say it. Vanilla? Okay, you can go now.
Vanilla.
All right. Now you got to talk. Go.
So funny. Okay, so another thing I wanted to bring up with you guys, does anyone have any idea what the number one reason why someone signs up with the network marketing business is? No.
Can you repeat that?
You're so funny. Okay, so the number one reason why someone signs up with the network marketing business is because somebody asked them to. They typically do not just stumble upon it. Yeah, there are some people that do, but for the majority, for like the number one reason why people join is because someone introduced them to it and asked them to join. So I just want you guys to understand that unless you're putting yourself out there in these conversations and like you're willing to be that problem solver for them and willing to introduce them to a solution, whether or not they become a coach is not the question. It's just you can't control how many people say yes, but you can control how many people you invite. And if you're holding yourself back in your conversations from like even inviting them, then not only are you doing them a disservice, but then you're stunting the growth of your business. So I think of it this way. If Lindsay did not ask me, to be a coach and did not invite me to join her team, and she was, she's a millionaire now, I would be so pissed off at my friend. Like, I would be so mad. Like, oh, you didn't think of me? You don't think I want to be a millionaire? You don't think I want to like stay at home and like work my own business? So when you think of it, it's hard when you're a newer coach. It's hard when you're not at the level of success maybe that you want to be, but I want you to be forward thinking and think about, where am I going to be in 5 years? Think of yourself being in the future now, and who are the, missed opportunities. Like, you don't want to look back. I forget what the book I read was, but I think it was like the 5 Regrets of the Dying. And it's, no one regrets what they did. Most people will regret what they didn't do. So you don't want to regret who you didn't ask. And there are people like my best friend from before Beachbody, not the cupcake girl, but I asked her to become a coach like several times, and she's still not a coach, and it's not for her, and that's okay. But I feel good that I put it out there to ask her. So even though it wasn't right for her, that's fine. But for me, like, I don't want to leave any potential on the table. And I don't want you guys to leave potential coaches, potential rock stars, potential people who, let's just say in like 2 years, they could retire themselves. Like, you don't want to do someone that disservice. Okay, so anything else about recruiting? Like, any specific questions? I've got, I can share like what I do. as far as like exactly how it looks for me, if you guys want.
Yeah, do that. We definitely want to know what you do. I want to do everything you do.
Okay, so first, like and I think you guys may have heard me talk about this before, like does everyone know what form is first and foremost? Does anyone not know? Okay, so form is a formula. It stands for family, occupation, recreation, and then your message. So it's basically just like a formula to make sure that in your conversation with someone that you're keeping it focused on them instead of leading with your own agenda. So like Julie was saying, when those people messaged her, they're leading with their message first. They're leading with what they want. But if they would have messaged her and said, oh my gosh, Julie, I haven't seen you since middle school. How's everything going? I saw that you have 2 kids now and you're married. You have 2 kids, right? Or 3? 2, 3. Okay. And they started asking her questions. Oh, sorry, go ahead. How many?
Yeah, 2.
Okay,
yeah, you're right.
I started second guessing myself. Like maybe there's like a surprise baby that I don't know about.
Oh God, no. They were talking about it today. Like if I had another baby, they wouldn't want a sister. That would be awful. But I could go ahead and have another boy. And I was like, nah, no more.
No more boys. Actually, I don't know if you guys know her. She's got 4 boys. And I always just think that's the craziest thing. Like 4 boys. But anyway, so if they would have led with, catching up with her and they would have asked her more questions, then they could have found an opening in the conversation to introduce their product, like to be a problem solver, like I was talking about. So when I'm forming somebody, it's not like I'm just blindly asking questions. In my mind, like my first objective is to connect with them with genuine interest and not have an agenda. Once I feel like I've genuinely connected with them, then I'm looking for ways to guide the conversation to where I can see if Beachbody would possibly be a solution for them. So for example, the easiest one would be, are they going on summer vacation anywhere? And talking about going to the beach or being in a bikini. And then I can say, oh my gosh, like, have you gone bikini shopping? That's always like, the most stressful experience. And then that's normally when they open up, and if they've been following me on Facebook, they kind of know that I do something with weight loss or Beachbody or fitness. So that's normally like where they'll kind of take the lead. So it's important. And actually, I don't know if you guys saw, Ginny posted today about one of her customers, like drinking this shake that wasn't Shakeology. And she basically said, oh, whoa, I need to talk about it more. So I don't want you guys to flood your newsfeed with Beachbody stuff, but it's important that people see consistently over time that you're doing the same thing. So if they don't see you drinking Shakeology, then their assumption, it's just like a subconscious thing, like, oh, that must not have worked. But if they see you do it for like 6 months, 9 months, a year, then they're like, whoa, okay, she's still doing that. It must be pretty awesome. So that's a little side note. But when you're forming them, you can kind of guide the conversation so that you can find if they need a solution and if maybe Beachbody would be right for them. I'm also looking for their sign, and that stands for strengths, interests, goals, and needs. So, are they somebody that I would want on my team? Like, are there strengths? Maybe there's someone that's organized. Maybe there's someone that's really positive or peppy. Are they interested in fitness? Are they interested in helping people? Are they a nurse or teacher? Those are always great coaches because they're so empathetic with people. What are their goals? Do they want to eventually stay home? Are they trying to have a baby? I just talked to a girl that she doesn't have a family yet, but when she does have children, she wants to be a stay-at-home mom, but financially they can't make that work on just one income right now. So, someone like that, I'm like, oh, well, have you ever considered being a coach and like building a business at home, so you could like be home with your children and still be supplementing your income? And then what are their needs? So needs, pretty self-explanatory. Like that kind of goes back to that time, stress, money, family example. Like what are the holes in their life that you can fulfill? So when I'm talking to someone, like those are my main objectives, like really to genuinely help them. And it's not like I'm writing down on a piece of paper, like, okay, strengths, it's just I keep that in my mind. So when I'm talking to them, I'm making sure to show interest and ask questions. So the main thing when you think about going back to Julie's example of somebody like messaging you, if someone messaged you with their network marketing opportunity, it just seems so icky. And really at the core of it, you just feel like a number, you feel used. So when you're talking to someone, you have to remember that people love to be heard and listened to and feel like they actually matter to you. Feel like what they're saying isn't going off into like internet dark space, that it's actually like resonating with you and you're like really taking it in and connecting with them. Like having that connection is so important. So I want you, like anytime you're talking to anyone, it doesn't matter if it's like a prospect or, you know, a coach or just somebody from your former life that you're reconnecting with, I really want you to invest the time in them and like honor that time that you're spending in the message with them. So don't lead with your agenda. Don't think about like, oh, how can I get them to be a coach? You know, how can I hook, line, and sinker them? It really is just about like having that genuine connection. And when you do that, people feel it. And then, you know, that's how you develop trust. So I took some notes because I wanted to make sure to share some stuff with you guys. So I wrote down relationship first, business second. So I want you guys to think in your head, how can I help so-and-so succeed? Whether it's business, whether it's fitness, whether it's not related to Beachbody, like how can you help that person succeed? And one thing that I recommend doing that I've made a habit of is every day I try to text or Facebook or email at least 2 people in my life that I just feel need encouragement of some sort. So it doesn't have to be that they're one of my coaches or customers. It could be just somebody in my life, like my neighbor, that I'm, you know, just like, hey, I was just thinking about you. Like, just wanted you to know that you're awesome. And you know, if there's ever anything I can do to help you, like, please let me know. It could just be like a 2-sentence thing. It doesn't have to be anything big. But when you kind of develop that reputation as the person who's willing to go the extra mile and help people, then they're a lot more reciprocal, a lot more willing to listen to what you have to say, and a lot more trusting in your business instead of just kind of, I think everybody has those guards, you know, those walls that they put up as soon as they hear like business opportunity. It just sounds so like 70s scam, you know, and like I know my parents were telling me like back in the 80s, you know, before I don't know if pyramid schemes were illegal back then or that they just happened. I don't know, but they just got a bad name to them. So like people instantly put those guards up. If you think about walking through the mall, when you go by those kiosks and the person is not talking to anyone and they're kind of looking for their next like victim, you just like have all these guards like, don't look at me, like walk forward, you know, don't make eye contact. So you don't want someone to have all those guards put up when it comes to you, especially about your business. So what I want you to think about is, are you offering them mall kiosk service or are you offering them Ritz-Carlton service? And when you go to a place like Ritz-Carlton or Nordstrom, they're never pressuring you for a sale. They're not like in your face about it. They're very laid back. They're very like they want you to feel comfortable. So are you going to be the aggressor, the mall kiosk person, or are you going to be the person that's, you know, there, that's supporting them, that's nurturing that relationship, building trust, and then when they're ready, they kind of know what you have to offer because you are sharing on your Facebook about your lifestyle, your business, your fitness. So here's like basically what I do. I always think of this in this quote. I have it like etched in my brain. You want people to think, I trust you, I like you, and that makes sense to me. So when I'm going through my conversations, I know I'm throwing a lot at you guys of what's going through my brain when I'm talking to people. I don't know if you guys were on the team call the other day, but you know, I liken this to the first time you learn how to drive a car. A lot of information is coming at you, but the more that you do it, the more that you have practice, the more it becomes second nature. So you want people to think, I like you, I trust you, and that makes sense to me. So obviously strengthening the relationship, that's kind of what we've been focusing on, relating to them, building that connection, building that trust in them. And then that makes sense to me. So that's the part where you're connecting their need or desire or want or strength or interest with Beachbody, whether it's the business could be many things, you know, so like specifically thinking about recruiting coaches, it could be accountability. It could be friendships and positivity. It could be the discount. It could be building a business. It could be building a business as a hobby, supplemental income or next top coach income. So it could be many different things. So you never want to, I always say, I hate when people try to shove the square peg in the round hole. Beachbody is not one thing. You need to know your audience, know the person that you're talking to, and then you could, relate the business in terms that they understand and make it fit to their needs. So maybe they aren't ready to be a full-time, go for, the top ranks of Beachbody coach. Maybe they're just ready to have some support and have that built-in accountability. So understanding that. So basically what I do is I share the business, and by that I mean maybe I share it on YouTube, maybe I share it on my blog, maybe I share it on Facebook, maybe I'm personally inviting someone, but I share it in some way. And usually I do mine through Woofu applications. If someone's interested, I love for them to fill out an application, even if it's someone I've known for 15 years, because that gives me a better idea of where their head's at, what interests them about it. So when I go to follow up with them, I know before I get on the phone with them, what to emphasize, what to focus on. So then let's just say once they fill out an application or they respond to me in some way, they message me, they comment on it, then I always like to compliment them. So, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you reached out to me because, insert compliment specific to them. And I feel like I don't need to say this, but I always do because I just need to. Never lie or exaggerate about the compliment. Make it a genuine compliment that is to that person. And even if you don't know a lot about them, you can just scan through some of their Facebook or scan through their application. Maybe they seem like they're very articulate. Maybe they seem like they're very passionate. Maybe they seem like they're very friendly. Whatever that looks like, if it's someone that you can say, I've always trusted your opinion. I've always, admired the way that you've done this, that, and the other. I always admire the way that you parent your children, whatever that looks like, to give them a genuine compliment. From there, it depends. So if it's someone that I've already formed, then you can just go right into, talking about the business. If it's someone that filled out the application, then this is the part where I would form them and I would look for those strengths, interests, goals, and needs. It's a first. So after you form them, then especially if they don't know anything about the business, so if you're talking about someone that has not been in a challenge group, then I do like to send them the introducing Beachbody video. And I'll say, this gives you a good idea of what we do as coaches. I really love this video because it's kind of a snapshot of the business. When would you have time to watch this? And asking them for that time commitment. So not just sending the video off, I always end every single message with a question and say when will you have time to watch this? And then, maybe say would you have time to watch it by Thursday at 9 p.m. so that I can follow up with you. And that just ensures that they're actually going to watch it. They're actually going to follow up and do it. And then I'll say okay, cool. I'll check in with you Thursday at 9 o'clock or after 9 o'clock. So then from there, I like to check in with them and then schedule a phone date. I like to get on the phone because through messaging, things are very slow going. Let's just be honest. By the time they message you back and then you message them back, and they can't feel your passion through the messaging always. So I like to get on the phone with them as quickly as possible. Sometimes, to be quite honest, I'll skip some of the forming stuff and just say when can we set up a phone date? Because I can do a pretty good job of explaining the business in a short amount of time and really getting to know them. So you even have the option of forming them over the phone. When I get on the phone with them, basically I'll ask them what they liked best about the video or what appeals to them most about coaching. So even if it's someone that doesn't really know what it is, they have some inkling of what it is by following you or by watching that video. And by asking them what they like best about it, you're not talking about any of the negative stuff okay, what kind of time commitment or the scary stuff having to invite people. That's where like that they get into as soon as they're a coach, and that's where you can like build up their confidence and build up their mindset. But I don't like to dive right into that. With that being said, after I ask them,
what video?
Introducing Team Beachbody in the Coach Online office.
Okay.
I use that video like all the time. And some people have told me there's like one by Shalene, I guess, that talks about the business, but I just use the Beachbody one.
Is it good? Is it cheesy? Like,
it's not cheesy. It's like 7 minutes, but I think it just does like a really great job of, I'm trying to think. Lindsay sent me the Decide video, which is like super old, and that's kind of cheesy, but I don't know. It like really spoke to me. So it's like about ending the trend of obesity. But you know what? Before you send anything, always watch it. Like I would never say.
You have a question, Jen?
What's that?
No, I just have a question about you doing the phone calls. Do you ever get anybody that like disappears after that? Because I know when I was in the beginning and Ashley was like, oh, let's set up a phone call, I'd be like, oh, I'm so busy. Like now I wouldn't care.
Really?
And I'm like a very outgoing person, but I was like, you put on the spot, ask all these questions. And I was like nervous about it when I first started. Do you ever have anybody like that? Because I always think about when I want to get on the phone with somebody, if they're going to be like,
I have literally, and I mean literally, never had anyone tell me no. And out of all my phone conversations, there was one person that has not signed up with me. And
oh, wow.
I could kind of sense that she wasn't going to. She was like, lived out in the country, asked her husband for permission on everything. And I was like, I don't think. But anyway, yeah, so I literally have like a 99% success rate. And just knowing Ashley, and I, have so much love for her, but she does have, or did have, some confidence issues in the business. So I'm just wondering if that kind of projected onto you, like if like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do on the phone? So I'm just very like, I even tell people, oh yeah, I know like sometimes talking to a stranger on the phone's weird, but like honestly, it's just quicker for me to explain everything to you. I've never had anyone tell me no. So just put that out there into the universe. So like good vibes, they're going to get on the phone with you. They're going to love it. The other thing I love about getting on the phone is you can really get to know them. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard me say this, but I like to diagnose before I prescribe, meaning, kind of going back to the form thing. If you're a doctor or you go to the doctor's office and the doctor comes in and writes you a prescription before even seeing you and diagnosing you, you would think he was a quack. So you have to remember that in your business. You're not just going to like one size fits all. Here you go, sign up as a coach, get this, do this. You're going, to want to form them, to find out more about them, find out their strengths, their interests, their goals, their needs. And then you can make an awesome recommendation for them, whether it's like how fast they're going to start in the business, what challenge pack they're going to get, how they're going to sign up, all that stuff. So I also know like what aspects of the business to focus on, when I'm talking to them. Maybe it's someone that would do really well teaching classes or fit club that wants to build the business that way, or maybe it's someone that wants to build the business through social media like me. Also on the phone, I'm pretty straightforward, as far as like, let's just say you've been talking to someone for a while, or maybe on the phone you feel like some resistance, like they're just not there yet, like they're not ready to sign up. I'm very straightforward with asking them what's holding them back, what's stopping you from signing up right now. Sometimes it's financial, but sometimes it is an objection, a fear. So instead of being afraid of those questions, objections, think of objections as questions, things that they don't understand in the business. So, I'm trying to think of an objection. Like, honestly, I don't know, money, I guess, would be one. So with that, like just showing the value of it and explaining about, how they can earn their money back. I don't ever try to sugarcoat anything. I don't ever, never lie. Like that is never good. But, I do like to say you are going to have obstacles. You're going to have roadblocks. You're going to have people that say you're crazy, or that working out is stupid, or home DVDs are like a joke. all that stuff's going to come up, but you just have to like focus on building your belief in the product. You have to be a product of the product, lead by example, you know, things like that. At the end of the call, this is kind of funny. I don't know like how to really explain this, but I basically act as if they're already on the team. So I'll say things like, oh my gosh, we have this once a year event called Summit. You're going to love it so much. You're going to meet the rest of your team. Like, we all go, blah, 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 you know, stuff like that, like including them. And we have team calls every Monday night. You get to connect with the other coaches. Really just like already, I guess, assuming the sale, already assuming the sign up. And I hope it makes them feel more comfortable. It makes them feel like they're already a part of it, which I think leads to them being more apt to signing up. But yeah, so basically, and then like by the time I get off the phone with them, it's like walking them through the sign up. So not every call, I mean, I didn't start doing calls until I was like a coach for 2 years. So I don't want you guys to go into it thinking that you're going to get on the phone and it's going to be magic. There is going to be a learning curve, finding your voice and like learning what to say, learning how to explain things. But I feel like the sooner you start doing it, the sooner you can kind of get over that fear, that you can find the way that you like to explain things. And I know that this sounds very dorky, but sometimes like if you guys got on the phone with each other and role played like that, it sounds weird. Like, oh, hey, Jen, like, what do you like about coaching? But it honestly helps so much. So don't be afraid to like call each other, connect, and do some role playing, like pretending like you're a coach prospect. But yeah, okay. So you guys have any questions about that? I will say like getting on the phone is probably one of the best things I've ever done. So like when someone signs up, you know, or does the application, I basically text them immediately just to let them know that I got it. And to make sure that my response doesn't go to spam. And then from there, just try to set up the phone call. Because you want to do things when people are excited about it. If you let somebody, you know, like their response go for like 48 hours, then they kind of start to lose that initial excitement. And then it's like, okay, does she really even treat it like a business? Maybe I want a coach that is more serious about it because I'm ready to roll with this. So, you know, just trying to like be on top of it and do it right away is like also an important aspect. Okay, cool. Well, what else do you guys want to talk about? Because I feel like I don't want to drone on too much about recruiting.
Blogging. You get a lot of your coaches from your blog, right?
Yes.
Is it because you're talking about like programs or because you're talking about the business?
It's so funny. It's like, have you guys read The Compound Effect when he talks about pumping the well? So for those of you who don't know, just basically imagine that you're pumping the well and you're like pumping, like working, hustling, and nothing's coming out. And that's when most people quit because they're doing all this work and nothing's happening. And then some people are pumping, and then finally they get like 2 drops of water. And then they say, well, crap, I just did all that work for 2 drops of water, and they quit. Some people keep pumping, and eventually a steady stream comes out, and they just have to do maintenance pumps, like consistently, every once in a while to keep the water flowing. And that's exactly how I feel about my blog. So I started it back in November of 2011, and it was totally by accident. It was just like a way for me to like share recipes at work, and then somehow people on the internet saw it and started commenting. And then I was like, wait, crap, I could use this for my business. And the first 8 months, I very specifically remember this, I blogged Monday through Friday for 8 months. Okay, so whatever 8 months times 5 days a week is, that is a lot of work, guys. I got basically 0 results. I was sharing it on my Facebook page. I was, putting it on Blog Lovin'. I don't think Pinterest was a thing back then. I'm almost positive it wasn't, or I didn't know about it at least. So there's like StumbleUpon I was using. StumbleUpon's like this website where, let's just say you have an interest in like beauty. You can just hit the stumble button and websites in the beauty category will come up and you can just cycle through them to find something interesting. So I was putting it on that under like health and fitness. So like doing all these things, and like I would get people here and there, but really nothing. And it wasn't until 8 months of consistently blogging that I started seeing results. I started having people contact me through that. So basically I blogged about recipes, I blogged about my journey, I blogged about my story, I blogged about Beachbody things like going on the trips, I blogged about my life, I blogged about my dogs, I blogged about decorating. I've literally just blogged about anything that I found interesting. And then one of the best things I did was answering questions. So as a newer coach, you guys might be getting some of the same questions. I was getting a lot of questions about P90X because I had a transformation video. So one day I was like, okay, I'm so tired of answering X, Y, and Z question about P90X. I'm so tired of answering, do I need to start over if I miss 2 days? So I just made a blog post about it. And then every time someone asked me that, I could just send them the link, like, here's the answer. So then I was like, crap, I should make a list of all the questions I'm getting and then just blog about them. But then I was also getting Brazil butt lift questions. So I was like, what is every single question I could ever think of about Brazil butt lift? What is every single question that I Googled before I was a coach? And I just started creating content around that. And that significantly increased my likes. Because if you think about it, there are people out there just like you who are starting their journey, who are wondering the exact same things that you are. And some of my questions, even as a coach, I was like, well, I don't really know the answer to that. So like I Googled the answer and then I just wrote my own blog post in my own words about it. So don't think that you have to have all the answers to come up with this content, but basically like through consistently blogging, and building that up and then sharing it on different, sources and then eventually sharing it on Pinterest is how it just gained so much momentum that now I don't have to blog every 5 days a week. I blog it's kind of bad, but when I feel like it now, and I still get tons of coaches from my blog. So in the beginning, like the tips, and I have a video on it, but basically like if you choose to blog, which I think is excellent idea, anything that's Googleable I think gives you an edge on the competition. Because if you think about the coaches that only build their business through, social media like Facebook and Instagram, nobody is going to be able to Google them and see their story or Google them and see the value that they add. They can only see that after following them on Facebook for a while. But when I talk to my people, my coaches that come from my blog, they feel like they already know me. They've read my story. They've read tons of the trainings that I've done. They've read tons of the content that I have. They follow the recipes. Like I have one girl that told me that her and her husband went through all my recipes and made everything basically, because they would say, oh, what's for dinner? Let's check Katie's blog. So becoming known like as a source of information, and then also being able to share your story as a way for people to relate to you. So by the time they got to me and they were ready to sign up as a coach, I didn't have to do as much work to build a relationship because they already felt like they had a relationship with me, even though I'd never talked to them before. So that's been a huge plus, a huge time saver for me. And just the type of coaches that I get are people more like me. They don't care about punctuation and spelling errors, which is wonderful. They're not like uptight like that. And if you are, I'm sorry that I called you uptight. But yeah, basically like now to get out there, if I were to give you guys some tips, I would say if you're going to blog, be consistent about it. So anyone that follows the blog likes to know when it's going to be updated. So for example, I was obsessed with Style Me Pretty, which is a wedding blog, and they would update it once a day. So I would just, this is like back when I worked a full-time job, like when I got to work, I would just check it. It was just like out of habit. I was just so interested to see what they would post. And there were a couple times when they didn't update it every day and I would check it and there was nothing. So then you just kind of fall out of the habit of checking it. So it's very easy to lose followers that way. So if I don't want you to get like industrious over there, and you're like, I'm going to blog 5 days a week. And then you end up blogging 2 days a week this week, and 3 days this week, and 1 day another week. I'd rather you just say, I'm going to blog once a week. So people know, like, every Sunday they can check your blog and get, the newest recipe or the newest, like, what's going on in your transformation, so that they can follow along. So that's number one. Number two, always include a picture in your post. The reason is, number one, people can pin it, and you can pin it on Pinterest. Visually, it makes it more interesting. And number three is you show up in Google. So, like, anytime I Google something, I'm more likely to click on images and search through images than I am to search through the words. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because I'm a visual person, but having images, like, helps. I don't care if it's like a selfie of you. I don't care if it's like a picture of food. Put something that's, like, pertinent to your blog post. And then putting it on as many things as you can. So one thing, I feel like I have to emphasize this, like, being a master of your own education. So if you are going to build through a blog, if you are going to build through Facebook, whatever you're going to build through, being a master of, being an expert in it, like getting educated on it. So one thing that I did, and I don't think that I knew what I was doing at the time, but I'm so glad I did, was I dedicated in my schedule 30 minutes a week to research. So I would sit down, like, set a timer. Okay, for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to research how to get more followers. I'm going to research what I can put my blog on to get more views. I'm going to research, titles that get more views. So, for example, I don't know if you guys know this, but more people will click on a blog post that is easier for them to consume. So if it's numbered, so for example, 5 tips on getting through the 21-day fix, or 3 ways you can clean up your pantry. It's just more appealing. People like to say, like, okay, 1, 2, 3, instead of just this long post. So even if you have some older posts that you've made, you can go back through and, like, segment it out into, like, the 10 ways to, or 10 things you need to know about coaching, whatever that looks like. Does that help with blogs? Do you have any other specific questions? I think the main thing is just getting it out there.
Yeah. Excited, yeah. Do you have a Visita?
Do you have a Visita pop up on your blog?
I do. That was a good question. Yeah, and those are easy to set up, and that's actually how my people, like, get in contact with me, is through that.
I tried to set one up on WordPress, and I bought my WordPress site. It was like the $100 one, not like the big one, but then they were saying they don't allow, like, external plug-in things through it, so I couldn't do Visita unless I bought, like, the $300 WordPress blog. Is there another way around that?
I'm not on WordPress, so I don't know, but I think that Amanda, do you know Amanda Plazik?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure she asked that question before or something like that. Maybe we can ask her.
Okay.
Because I actually don't know. But yeah, that, or something where they can message you. It doesn't have to be necessarily that. So maybe even researching, like, WordPress. I don't even know what that's called. Like,
I have a contact me form that I put on every blog post. So at the bottom of every blog post, there's a thing that they can fill out to either leave a message or to contact me.
Well, that's good. Yeah, as long as, has anyone filled it out or done it?
Well, no, I just switched to the new one, and I've been more consistent. Like, I had my old one, and I'd had it for a long time, and I had a lot before Beachbody. Like, I was doing other things with it, and I had a lot of followers, and it got a lot of views. And then whenever I decided to get the paid for site, like, it lost all my, it didn't lose my post, it just made a completely separate site. Like, I thought it was just going to transfer my free WordPress to the new one. So I've been transferring my blog posts this week to the new one. But I did a 21-day fix review post, and I pinned it to Pinterest, and it's gotten a lot of hits in the past few days. So hopefully someone will fill it out soon.
That's really awesome. Yeah, like anything like, especially around programs that people, 21 Day Fix is still fairly new. If you think about P90X has been around for like 8 years. So 21 Day Fix Extreme, 21 Day Fix, like I really need to make one 21 Day Fix Paleo meal plan because I get so many questions about that. Anything you get a lot of questions on, like jot down in a notebook. Like I need to make a blog post on that because if they're asking, then tons of other people are asking too.
Do you want to say hi? You hit Emerald today. I don't know if you knew that, but you did.
Hello, ladies.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
By the way, your family picture, you guys have an awesome family picture. Your banner.
Oh, thanks.
Who's that?
Oh, that's Katie.
Katie.
You know Lindsay.
I know Lindsay, yeah.
Okay, that's Jen, Jessica, Jaylene, and Ryan.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, you hit Emerald today. Congratulations.
Yay, way to go. So funny. You guys know Colleen that did the team call or the Zoom call last night? I always thought her husband, 'cause she's like a 4-star, I always thought her husband worked the business, but I was talking to her after the call last night and she's like, yeah, no. Like,
that's all her.
He's like 1-star, I think 1-star qualifying, and it was like her. And I'm like, oh, that's so funny.
Oh, wow.
Since he hit emeralds, does that make you something else?
No. But look at Lindsay's face. Lindsay needs a coach, and then I'll be diamond.
Lindsay.
Okay. You could do it.
Lindsay, unmute yourself.
I'm trying so hard. I started a new job last week, and I'm trying to find a way to – it sort of is better because instead of my crazy, chaotic home thing, now I have like an actual office with actual files and actual peace, which is weird that my job is more peaceful and quiet than my home. But I'm thinking, I've decided like no eating out because it's an hour commute. So I can't just go home for lunch. So I'm going to take my lunch every day and use my hour lunch for Beachbody. And I'm hoping that that'll help. But I am having a really hard time. Everybody I talk to has something they just don't want. Like I was trying to use Shakeology and challenge packs so people would at least try the discount thing, and nobody wants to do the shakes. They've all been burnt by Herbalife or by some other thing, and they're like, and I've sent some samples. Julie even sent one of my girls a sample, and I'm hoping, I haven't heard from her yet. I hope that she seems like potential. I think she's doing really good in the challenge groups, and we've been communicating.
Talisha?
Yes, Talisha. And I message her pretty often, and I have been trying to build towards, because I think not even just a discount coach, I think she would be a good coach generally.
I think she would too.
Yeah, and she loves to participate, and she's constantly messaging me. We now work by each other and have talked about meeting up during the day to do things. So I have high hopes there.
Julie, have you reached out to her and just said like you think she'd be a great coach? And she just was like, okay.
Well, like maybe after the challenge group, or even like during it right now, because she's so and she is participating a lot, and you should just like build her confidence and be like, you are really rocking this. You're doing so good. I really think that you would be good at this. Have you ever thought about coaching? Or when people are talking about all their programs and she's tried the Shakeology and she loves it like she's going to, then you could talk her into a challenge pack and a discount.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. Well, especially because I have been sort of building towards that. I message her pretty regularly and say, you're just such a great attribute to these groups, and they've really built, and I really feel like you're a big part of what is making these other women who are now part of these groups so pleased with this new support network that they have found. And So I'm hoping, and I don't know. I have high hopes. She's my hope right now.
That's awesome. I was gonna say the people that have been burnt on shakes before, like I usually just relate to them. Like I know I used to work at GNC, so I've tried everything, like every shake ever made, I think. So like that's when I introduced the 30-day money back guarantee. I completely understand how you feel. I've done the same thing. Like I would not lead you astray. I've been doing this for X amount of months. Like for me, I can say I've literally been drinking Shakeology for 4 years. So it's like, you've built up months of testimony to say, I've been there, I've tried all these other things, and this is like the one thing that I feel is actually helping me. I feel confident about it. I feel like it's enhancing my health. And after 30 days, if you don't feel like it is, then you can just ship everything back.
Yeah.
Can I add something to that? And Katie, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't typically give people the options to not get Shakeology. I will send them straight to the pack. I will tell them that this is it. And the only way, and I rarely get people just buying the DVDs, the only way people buy the DVDs is if they start clicking on stuff and trying to find it, and they're like, oh, this one's cheaper. I see the $60 one. And they still say, like, I do not recommend that. This is a whole program, blah, blah. So I don't know how you're approaching your customers, but I definitely don't give them that option of you can just get the DVDs, because I don't believe that just the DVDs will, make that much progress.
That's a great point.
Do you agree with that?
I feel like that's an option. I'm not going to turn down a sale. Like if they don't want the shakes, I'm still going to let them get the DVDs. I mean, and then they're going to see the commercials and
right. I don't say no, but I don't originally say these are the different options you have. Yeah. I say here's the link to the challenge pack. Get this.
I always lead with the challenge pack. I always lead with Shakeology, but like Lindsay said, so many people are burned by shakes. They're like, I just kind of want to try the 21-day fix first, and it's like, all right, go for it. But I feel like it's done so much for my weight loss and has helped me with my craving. I just tell them what it's done for me, but that's sometimes just not enough. Money's a big issue.
I've been trying to use just since April 1st, I've lost 25 pounds. And I'm trying really hard to help people see that. And I know that in another month or 2 months, I feel like my transformation will be a huge point for me. And so I have high hopes that my future situation is really going to be a big attribute, especially because now I do have a 40-hour work week. And so when I continue to lose weight with my new schedule, I hope that it brings a lot of some of my Facebook friends that have started kind of paying more attention to it around to full circle.
Who is Ann Bowen? Do you know?
That's my coach. She's my boss, actually.
Oh, cool. I'm just looking, Lindsay, when I see your page, I don't see you. Where are you on your page?
On my own, my profile?
Yeah, your Facebook page.
You know what? I'm working on some confidence issues. Even these calls are hard for me because you guys
Really?
Yeah.
You're so cute, though.
Oh. I feel so aware of every flaw of me, and I'm working on that. I'm not a good selfie taker. I'm not, or just because out of fear, if I post one, it's I've taken 900 and I have filled my phone.
So you need to get this app called Insta Beauty. It takes out your dark circles and wrinkles.
I totally have Facetune.
No, Facetune has nothing on Insta Beauty.
Really?
Yeah, because it does it automatically. It's these magic things come up and it's dude. It's amazing. I use it for all my selfies. Or just kick monkey it. Just airbrush out pimples.
I rock my pimples in my face, my selfies.
That is so awesome.
I always edit. I'm like, okay, transfer this to PicMonkey. Let's airbrush. Let's spray tan. Let's teeth whiten.
The only thing, like, I never want someone to be like, you look nothing like your Facebook.
What?
I said the only thing is I never want someone to be like, whoa, like, you look nothing like your Facebook.
Oh.
Like, there's actually a coach, she's like pretty successful, but she airbrushes her pictures like crazy. And I hadn't seen her for a while, and then I saw her in, at the mall one day randomly, and I was like, whoa, not good. Like, age gracefully. A little beauty is okay, but don't go buck wild with it.
Lindsay, you don't need to. You're gorgeous, and you can just post those selfies.
Aw.
You are. We better see one tomorrow.
Okay. I'll post one tomorrow. You guys have my word.
If you really don't like it, just make it black and white. That makes everything better.
You know what? That's true. That makes a big difference.
Ashley's bad about that too. Ashley like freaks out over selfies and is sending them to me. Oh my God, I post selfies all the time. Just post it. Like, it's not a big deal. Just post it. She's like, well, what do you think? How does it look? Is it stupid?
I literally was shocked to see a selfie of Ashley pop up in my newsfeed. Like, oh my gosh, hell hath froze over.
And she looks so cute in it.
I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, honestly, I was so nervous. Like, I actually had people on my Facebook making fun of me. So to say that I was, like, nervous to post things, like, you have no idea. But at a certain point, I just felt like, okay, I'm either going to live in fear of these people, or I'm just going to do it, and they're going to make fun of it, and I'm just, not going to care. Like, just free yourself from other people's judgment. And I read this thing somewhere that was like, what other people think of you is none of your business. It's like, get out of your own head, basically. Because they probably aren't even thinking anything bad anyway. They're probably more concerned with what their selfie looks like. Who else needs to get picked on? What other things are you guys struggling with in your business? I know it's late, so don't feel obligated to stay on, but if there's anything specific. The other thing I was going to say with recruiting, Lindsay, is making a list, possibly going through like the memory jogger and thinking of the people, like if you had your absolute dream team, who would those people in your life be? And then sometimes, like, I've approached people that way of just saying, I was thinking about, like, who I want to build this with. And, like, I love that I can choose who I work with. I really admire X, Y, and Z about you. Have you ever thought about joining me? And sometimes it's not about the shake. It's not about the workouts. It's about, like, the potential of the business and, like, building something together. Not necessarily positioning yourself as the expert of like, I'm going to mentor you every step of the way. It's more like, I really want to learn this with you. I want to do it together. And I don't know if you guys know Nikki Minton, but she's like my coach that basically when she signed up, I had no idea what I was doing. And we literally learned the business together. And now she's like a millionaire, which is crazy. But it's just cool to see. Like, I just want you guys to think not everyone wants to be a millionaire with Beachbody. That's fine. Not everyone wants to, like, do it full time. That's fine. But I just want you to see that there's such potential with this that there's no reason to hold yourself back, even if you're not there yet. Like, the only way that you're going to get there is to show that bigger picture to people and be excited about your future. So, I mean, speaking of, like, what does that look like for you? I mean, are you still passionate about what you do for a living? Would you like to, like, work from home? Like, what does Beachbody mean for you?
Jessica, you're a PT, right?
I have my certification, but I haven't actually done anything. Like, I took the test and did all the work, but I didn't actually get a job as a personal trainer. So
Do you
I
think? Go
I'd
ahead.
love to, yeah, but there just like hasn't really been an opportunity. I'm hoping that when we move to Delaware that there's going to be like more gyms and more places that I can possibly work at, and I don't know.
So are you wanting to like mesh Beachbody with that?
If I can. I don't know if there's like legal stuff with it, like if I'm working for a gym and I'm like, hey, also I do this and you can pay me this way too. So I don't know. I would have to look into how that works, but
There are tons of trainers and like group fitness instructors that are also coaches. I'm sure like each individual gym would have its own role, but you could like really build your business on the platform of Shakeology.
yeah.
And then, if people are training with you, not everyone can afford to do 5 days a week, but like I know some trainers that they're with their clients. Like actually Jay does this too because he's also a trainer. Not like, does it full time. He trains like right now he has like one client. So he'll do 21 day fix with her 2 days a week. Like he'll go train her and then the rest of the day she does it by herself.
Okay.
And just like checks in. So like maybe doing something like that.
That would be cool.
Or since you don't have any gym that you can work at now, you can try to build your client base and like train people at their house, if they have weight.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a military spouse, so there's always tons of ladies around me that
like
are
need
looking to get fit and stuff.
That's what I would do in military. I mean, you guys have the free sign up for coaches. Like I would really be hustling.
I know.
Military.
I need to get on it.
What's been stopping you so far?
I'm brand new, and I like to know everything. So I feel like I'm trying to just like learn as much as possible before I actually like try to tell someone else about it, and then they ask me a question and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I call that analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
But the beauty of this business is like you have so many coaches who have your back. So here's the problem with waiting until you know it all. Then when you go to enroll coaches, they kind of freak out because they say, well, oh my gosh, I don't know everything Jessica knows. Like, how am I ever going to do it? So then you have that same holding pattern that kind of duplicates throughout your team. But if you're willing to not know some answers and introduce it to people and share, and they ask you something and you don't know the answer, and you say, oh, you know what? I actually haven't learned that yet. Let me ask Julie. And you do a 3-way message with Julie, or you get the answer from her. Then that person says, oh, I don't have to know it all to do the business. I can like jump right in, and I've got people who help me learn it as I go. So I just want you to be aware of that.
Okay.
How long have you been a coach?
I started in November just to get the discount.
Mm-hmm.
And then like April, like the beginning of April, I got on Ashley's like Smart Start group. And so just since then, I've been kind of...
Well, welcome to the business. I'm sure, a lot of it's like overwhelming. There is a lot to learn, a lot to take in, but it does sink in, I promise. And like, I think the best thing you can do is lead by example, like do your workout, do personal development so that you learn how to be a business owner. And like the rest kind of falls into place like as you're implementing. So like as you're inviting, as you're sharing, then you kind of just learn, like I was saying, like you find your voice, you find what works for you basically. It's like what works for you since you, are you more of a face-to-face person or are you more like I'd rather build online? Or you don't know?
Probably online. I don't know. I'm super shy, I guess.
How do you have your personal trainer then?
I know. I just really liked it. I love fitness and nutrition, so I was like, what can I do with that? And so
it's like you can use all your personal training knowledge to actually make some like really awesome, helpful blog posts and like start attracting people that way.
yeah, a blog is definitely on my mind for sure. That what I want to start with.
And like the best thing I will tell you with the blog is just diving in. Like mine looked like crap for 6 months, and then I just kept tinkering with it. And then it just gradually got better and better. So, I always hear like people say, oh, I want to start a blog, and they've got in their mind like this mile-long list of things they need to do before that. Literally, here's step 1 of getting a blog. Step 1, sign up for an account. Step 2, make a post that says hi, so you know how to make a post. And that's it. And then just start writing. And then the rest kind of, as you tinker with it and as you learn, it will fall into place. But if you say, I start a blog, but first I need to like read about it, trust me, 6 months will fly by before you can even blink.
Yeah.
Just like make your first post about why you signed up as a coach, why you love training maybe. Whenever you do it, I would love to see you share. I want to read it.
Okay. I'll get to work on that.
Yay. Lindsay, what's your goal with your business?
I'm not sure right now. We're kind of in the middle of an extremely random life change. I had this totally random job opportunity come up, and a week before that, I was trying with Beachbody, but it wasn't really. I'm more trying my inward battle, like my personal weight loss and journey, and Beachbody I'm hoping will build on that. I know that no matter what, I do want it to be my long-term supplemental income, no matter what. But I don't know yet, depending on how this job works out, I don't know yet if I want to do it full-time or it just remains supplemental. But either way, I want it to be a big primary focus. And that's about where I'm at right now. I do want my blog to be a huge focus because I do genuinely love blogging, and I've loved it for years. And I have no idea where I lost yes, I do know where I lost the consistency, but I've got to work on that. And Julie has been a great motivator there because she'll randomly text me and say, where's your blog? Like, let's see it. In fact, she just did, I think it was either yesterday or the day before. And I said, no, I'm going to be a blogging, you know what? So you just watch out. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, she's really good at being a motivator. So that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm hoping for.
I mean, you have such a great personality, and just I love talking to you. Like I want to read your blog. I want to see more about your story and like see. I think on Facebook, I don't know if you can relate to this at all, but yeah, it's almost like more transparent on Facebook. It's like your boss, people seeing your posts. So like I definitely understand feeling vulnerable posting things, but then on a blog it kind of feels like it's all your cold market. It's not people who have previous conceptions about you or like who are judging you. It's just people who, more of the people that are reading it are people that relate to you, so it's much easier to be vulnerable, to like show behind the curtain, kind of open up about your feelings. So I think that's a great way for you to build your confidence and like really dive in there, and then it will start to bleed into like other, social media. And I definitely think You Are a Badass is a great book for you to read. Like, you are so awesome. Like, I just want you to think that too.
Thank you.
You're a badass.
I'm gonna stitch it on a pillow and just keep it around me all the time.
I love it. Put it over your bed.
Right.
I have like on my computer back here, these like white things are like affirmations that I read every day because I want to make sure that my mind is in the right place. And like for me, a lot of that is like are my intentions pure when I'm talking to people? Am I keeping the focus on them? Because it's really easy to, get lost in your own agenda. So I'm a huge believer in like affirmations or keeping things in front of you that you want to focus on. I think it's incredibly helpful. Who else hasn't talked yet? Say something. Someone's getting called out.
I haven't talked yet, but I've been just listening because I don't really have much to add.
Well, what are your goals right now?
Mainly just to build the team and to keep hitting Success Club each month. I have big, huge goals. I would love to be a stay-at-home mom and not have to, go to my job every day. Although I love it, I'm definitely loving this a lot more. And I feel like this could be a different path for me that I didn't believe was there before. So I'm definitely excited for that process and for the prospect of it. And I'm just trying really hard to get there. So
how are you building? Like, what are your main avenues?
Mainly right now, just really trying to do my Power 3 every day, trying to do my communication, trying to build up my Facebook stuff. I've just briefly started getting into Instagram, but I know I need to do something else. And I'm kind of one of those people that, again, kind of feels like I need a little bit more information before doing it. But I know if I just do it, I'm going to learn in the process. For whatever reason, that blog or whatever it is kind of stopping me from just doing it. I just need to break through it. So
you guys know I love quotes, but there's like another quote I love. It's the start that stops most people, and it's so true. It's like the first step is always the hardest. It doesn't matter what it is. And like, I look back on a couple things in my journey, I really feel like it was like the hand of God just like making me do things, because I don't know how I did it otherwise. But like when I was first a coach, I was thinking, okay, everyone in my life sucks. Like everyone's so negative and like, just not very nice about Beachbody. So I immediately was like, okay, how can I grow my business outside of the people that I know? And that was through YouTube. That was like the only way that I knew to like reach new people. So I wasn't confident enough to put my face in the pictures, but I did post day 0 pictures, like literally no transformation. Like, here's where I am. And I said, come back in 30 days to see an update. And I didn't think anybody would see it, but it was like, it was like around Halloween was like my first 30-day picture was due. And somebody had like put on my thing like, oh, hey, where's your update? And I was like, oh, crap. Somebody's following this. And then I did day 1 through day 30, day 1 through day 60, and then day 1 through day 90. And it just like kept me accountable. But my point is I didn't have anything to go on. I didn't have any results yet, but I at least posted a video proclaiming what I was doing. And that started to build my cold market and like attract people into my business. So whether your video is just you saying hi, like, hey, YouTube, like just putting something out there so that people are stumbling upon it, that they're Googling something and getting to you, whether it's 21-day fixed results or you could do what I did and post like, before you even have results. Or we've done videos like how to travel and still pack snacks to eat clean. Just anything so that people are able to Google. Like the one thing I worry about with you doing just Facebook and Instagram is you have no catalog of information. Like 4 years from now, let's just say, are you still going to be getting customers from your Facebook post now or Instagram post now? You might have a following built, but you don't have a way to like pull new customers in. So I just feel like it's so important to have something Googleable that's going to always be there, like YouTube or a blog, So the sooner you can start creating it, I think the better.
I actually kind of needed to hear that because I know that that's going to be important, and I just need to do it. I don't know. I honestly don't know what's holding me back. And it's so funny because I even went through that, and Jen will attest to this. I even went through that back in April because I was really struggling, and I was making it through the You Are a Badass book, and I was hitting some of the later chapters, and I was actually really having some battles. Like I spent one weekend crying my eyes out, and I was just trying to figure out what the heck, what is it that I'm so afraid of? What is it that is just holding me back from hitting that? And I kind of broke through that. And when I did, and really focused on the positive things and focused on, what, I just need to do it. And that's it. Like no other thinking, I just need to do it. And then when I did that and did my affirmations, everything worked out. I mean, I literally had my last challenge pack sale at 9:07 on April 30th. And I literally believed all day long that I was going to hit that. I fell asleep on the couch at 8:00 and refused to go to bed because I knew it was going to happen right at 9:00. And literally my phone rang at 8:53. So I know that what she was saying in the book, and I know those affirmations are so important and can be so real if you really believe in them. It's just, the blog is my next step. It's like, I conquered that. Now I need to conquer this. And I just need to believe that it's possible. And I just have to go. And I know it's going to work itself out. It's my next step. So
I literally feel like that would be the perfect YouTube video. Like we just need to snip you out and make that into a video. Just stuff like that. Oh my gosh. That's so inspirational. I would want you to be my coach. Preach. Have you thought about doing videos to your team on just stuff that you're reading, like personal development stuff?
I did the My Why video, which was a huge hit. And then about 2 weeks ago, I ended up kind of doing my This Is Why I Wake Up at 4 a.m. video. And that actually got some good responses. And I actually have a couple people right now that I'm messaging from that post that are still interested and that I'm still communicating with. So I am finding that I think those videos might be kind of part of my niche. And so trying to get more comfortable with that. And actually those are actually kind of fun for me. And it's much easier than the typing, and you still can get my personality and kind of the person that I am. So I think that might be the avenue in connecting it all. So, and that's part of it. I'm trying to figure it out. So it's just, not bad,
it's fun though. Just it's such a learning curve for all of us. But I was going to say, on your blog, what if you did, what's it called? Oh, bye. What if you did, instead of an actual blog post, that you're just start your blog and then you're putting your videos on it as just another way to get it out there, and then you can beef it up and type out your story and stuff later, but at least you're getting something.
Yeah, I think that I kind of like that avenue, and I think that might be a good, at least something to start with. Even tips and tricks, with my challengers, and I was texting a girl earlier, it's there's little tips and tricks that, there's still people out there that really don't know half your body weight equals the amount of ounces of water you should be drinking a day. My colleague, who's a PE teacher, literally did not know that. And I taught her that 2 weeks ago. So it's, things like that I know is just needing to get that out there. And that might be kind of my niche, at least to get me started, kind of part of my background too. So
that is awesome.
So thank you. That actually helps me a lot.
Yay! Cool. Well, anything else you guys want to talk about? Because it's approaching my bedtime.
I haven't had dinner yet.
Oh my God.
But then it's almost 7:40. But yeah, this is a little late for us. So
yeah. That's so funny. This has been fun. I'm definitely glad we did it. We have to give Ashley a hard time for having a final. I keep telling her, it's just a complete joke, but I keep telling her to drop out already. I'm quit that stupid school thing. What are you doing? But
She wants to. She's like, she sends it to me every time you text her that. She takes a screenshot and sends it to me, and I'm like, well, maybe you should.
being a college dropout and a millionaire is way cooler than having a college degree and being a millionaire. I'm just saying.
Yep. Thank you so much, Katie. This was awesome.
Thank you guys.
We've got some ideas for trainings and for posts.
I'm glad it was helpful. Yeah, I mean, just anything I can do to help you guys, I want to do. I look forward to seeing many a blog post from this group. All right,
Thank you, Katie. Bye, girls. Good night.
have a great night. I'll upload this, and just in case anyone wants to rewatch it or something.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks. I'll share it in the group.
Sounds good. Good night.